Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Monday morning meditation. I hope you had a wonderful Mother's Day. And we are always tuning into that nurturing part of ourselves, especially when we meditate. Our question for today is so interesting because I was thinking about, gosh, I don't feel really led to the book today. Our meditation, Your Key to Accessing Universal Consciousness by Jane Elizabeth Hart. And what I was feeling was like, I just feel like giving us some practice just being with ourselves, because that can be so hard. And that's often a deterrent for people for meditation, where they say, oh, I just sit and all I hear are my thoughts. My mind goes crazy. And what they're really saying is, I don't like paying attention to what's going on in my mind. Well, it's going on in the mind anyway. In meditation, we are paying attention to that, but we're also practicing not getting sucked into whatever's going through our minds. And so that's why it's so important to understand that, hey, our thoughts are going to do what they're going to do, but we can have a focus point. We can practice bringing our thoughts back to something. We've been using a word, we've been using relax, we've used peace, which we may be using today. We'll see when we get started. It seems like things change sometimes, so we'll just go with the flow. Um, and one of the traditional mindfulness techniques that I have always liked, and mindfulness is a type of meditation. It's a specific meditation practice that comes from the Buddhist tradition of just letting things be. Sometimes there's an anchor, sometimes there's just kind of a free flow, allowing things to just be what they are instead of working consciously to bring your focus, your attention back to an anchor. And one of the things I used to love when I was a kid was to sit in the grass and look up at the sky and just watch the clouds go by, and imagine that I was talking to God and God was talking back to me. And there was just this wonderful interchange as I just peered up into that big, vast blue sky, and just letting the clouds do their thing and watching them morph into different shapes, and not really trying to identify what the shapes look like, although that's a fun game to do sometimes too, but to just let them be and watch how, in my mind at that time, watch how God was changing those clouds and moving those clouds. And in meditation time, that's a wonderful metaphor to use because we are looking into the vast expanse of our mind. Maybe we're liking what we see, maybe we don't, but it isn't about liking or not liking. It's about not judging and just letting it be. And one of the mindfulness tools that I have liked over the years is to take what's happening in the environment and listen. Just listen to the different sounds. I was going to sit outside today, but it's lawn mowing day today, so I knew we will probably get interrupted by a weed whacker or a, or a lawnmower. So I thought, oh, I better stay inside. Plus, my allergies go crazy too after I sit out there for a little bit. So, sneezing is not part of our practice today. Listening to me sneeze. But to just take the sounds in your room and just let them be. Just notice them without getting into a conversation with them in your head or about them in your head. So if you hear things that you like, just listen and notice how it interacts with your body. If you hear things that you don't like, just listen at how that interacts with your body and let yourself non-resist, which is a Buddhist concept also of non-resistance. It's in lots of traditions, right? But it's not struggling with what you're hearing or not struggling with how you feel about what you're feeling, one of the thoughts that came to my mind thinking about this today was when I was growing up, I was taught that, model maybe, that a ticking clock was something to resist and not enjoy or not like. And so I've worked with that over the years, and I can sure understand why that was modeling. And also, it made me more determined to take that sound and use that as my practice to not resist what I was hearing, or not resist, not let it define me, but just to let it be, and to strengthen my inner self and my inner state, to just let it be what it is. And it's not in my control. It just is what it is. And just letting it move past me like one of those clouds in the sky. So we're going to work with that today. And I'm bringing that, I brought up the book today because our next question is, I am constantly distracted by my thoughts when I meditate. What can I do about that? And that's exactly what we're talking about today. And you can go to the website to see that full answer. I won't read it since I've been already talking a lot. And it's time to meditate. But what can we do? We can just watch and let it be. We don't have to do anything about it. And that's the practice, because we're used to fixing something or avoiding something or struggling with it, trying to get it out of our thoughts, out of our experience, where when we resist, we're just packing it down into us more, or we are avoiding it altogether, and it's just going to come back and pop up in some other way too. So this is really about just letting things be, and learning to let things be. And we'll work with this maybe at the end of the meditation, but there's an application for this in the world too, where we see things that we don't like. We see things that we feel are not right. And whether that is true or not about what's happening in the world, our response is our responsibility, our ability to respond, and our ability to manage our response to those things in the world. So our meditation practice is a microcosm of working with our reactions to the world and that macrocosm. So we'll talk more about that towards the end of our meditation time. But right now I invite you to just be relaxed in your chair or bed, or wherever you are choosing to spend this time. And I invite you to take a couple of deep breaths to help your mind-body system transition into this time of relaxation and stillness. And if you feel your body isn't able to be still, just notice that. That's exactly what we're practicing today, is just letting everything be what it is. I do invite you to find your body anchor, that place within you that is the most calm, grounded, or neutral. Whether it be your heart center, your bottom in the chair, your feet on the floor, your hands in your lap, your relaxed shoulders, that core in your gut, wherever that anchor feels the strongest for you today. Just let your attention rest there. From that place, allow yourself to notice whatever is happening all around it. Any body sensations, any places in your body where you might feel extra tension today. Just noticing it without thinking about it, without making a list of what you need to do about it later. Just noticing it and letting the noticing pass through your mind like a cloud in the sky. And really, your attention is at your anchor, so the cloud is passing through, right through that anchored place within you. From that anchor, we are really just noticing that sphere of presence and activity all around us. Just expand your awareness to what's happening in your room or in your home. Just notice those sounds. Perhaps there are smells of morning coffee or toast or whatever you had before we met today. Noticing without attaching, letting it float by. Perhaps there are sounds that you are noticing that make some sort of reaction within you. Just notice that. Notice that reaction with curiosity, compassion, without judgment, just letting it be an observation that floats by. Perhaps there are others around you. And from your anchor, from your grounded place, simply notice their movements without thought, without holding on to any thought or reaction that their movements might be initiating in you. Perhaps there's a pet moving around, just noticing their presence without thought. Letting that awareness just move through you like that cloud in the sky. Perhaps you're noticing more sounds beyond your home in the neighborhood, cars driving by, birds outside. Just be aware without attaching to the awareness. And if you're noticing anything that causes you to have agitation or aggravation, whether it's in your body or your room or beyond, just notice that aggravation. Just notice it. Try not to judge it, like avoiding not you're avoiding judging the thing that you're hearing. Also, try not to judge your reaction to it. You are the infinite sky, and these are just clouds. rolling by. I am the infinite sky, and these are just clouds rolling by. And perhaps you can feel yourself expansive like that sky, that blue sky, with the sun shining right through its heart, and the clouds come and go. But the divine plan is for the sun to keep on shining and the that vast, beautiful blue sky to hold the space for everything else that's happening. Whether it's the clouds of body sensation, the clouds of thoughts, emotions, reactions that come from within, just clouds floating by. Maybe it's our environment that brings the clouds, but those two will roll on by. Maybe it's the neighborhood or the state or the country or the world where we notice those clouds. But they too will roll on by as that infinite sky holds all that is happening and temporary. And the light of the sun keeps shining through the heart of that infinite sky. Like the heart of our awareness, the light of our awareness shines through our anchor as everything else just rolls on by. And that light within will always win. It will always be present after all the clouds roll by. And that light in the world will always win. Will always shine down upon the world and through the world, through our hearts. Dissipating those clouds and letting them roll on by. All we have to do is just not grab onto the clouds. Just let them go. Let them float on by. And as you feel this light in your heart, within you and your anchor, maybe it's not your heart, feel it inside warming you, expanding all through you and around you. And this light blesses your day and your week ahead. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I invite you to practice with that experience, that affirmation, but that experience of being the vast blue sky. Everything else is just clouds moving by. And you just shine your light of presence and compassion and beingness, holding that space for others. As you practice holding it for yourself, I am the infinite sky, and these are just clouds rolling by. And I invite you to just be with that for a while. And as we sign off for our time together today, just taking that experience of infinite sky, just being in that for a while. I know you'll have a wonderful week ahead working with this, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.